don't fall for cheap copies, the original news right here, right now. Greetings Wromies and welcome to RomRom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to a regular news roundup. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@romrom.net. I think this is a first in the... Holy 2.5 years already? So this may very well be a first in our news, as most of our news today are small news. Other than the iRacing segment, all segments this week are going to be quite small. But hey, instead of blowing news out of proportion, blathering to no end, we bring you what is no nonsense. New trailer, new info about Frontier's F1 Registered Manager 2022. The game will be released on the 30th of August and you can already pre-order it, thus getting the game 5 days before everyone else and 10% cheaper. Instead of paying €55 USD, you'd pay $49.50. Still a lot of money. While I've never understood this 3 or 5 days earlier access thing, it must help companies somehow or they wouldn't continue doing such stunts, right? For the rest, the trailer just tells us what we already know, at least those of us who've played Motorsport Manager or even in some parts any of the newer F1 20-something games. But okay, we hear you, it's going to have official content, licensed tracks and all that. It's funny though how much the trailer shows cars racing. Let's see how well they've implemented live races, something that Motorsport Manager also had quite well up to a point. We suppose it's going to be much more looking at menus and decision trees than it looks like in the trailer. Interestingly, EA have released what they say is the first of 3 developer deep dive videos, this one concentrated on physics and handling, something that as far as we remember, Codemasters never did. Senior developer David Greco explains in an over 20-minute long video that they worked on improving the suspension, adding bump stops, improving the tire model, introducing a tire drag coefficient that will force you to be smooth on the wheel, and also changing the tire wear calculations. All this means that setting up your car is going to become more complex than it was before, which we know for some of you is a wonderfully new opportunity to fiddle with your car. They've also improved the collision models, which now should be fine-tuned to the 3D model of the cars. Because of that, you should be feeling the tracks much better, as you should be able to feel any bumps or other characteristics of it. Of course, be scared of curbs. And because of more precise physics, and again no surprise here, the force feedback will feel better, more precise and nearer to what is happening on the monitor. Of course, they also had to rework the aerodynamics of the cars, no big surprise here as the new regulations affect those quite thoroughly. We've left a link to the video in our description in case you want to hear all the details. Once again, Saber makes us pay for something we don't really need, but I suppose enough of you buy it or they would stop doing it, right? In any case, there is a new DLC bringing 2 Land Rover Defender into the game. While we have more than enough scout cars to survive any region, or so we hope, you may want to get them even at the high price of €6 USD for the DLC. On the coattails of the Heart of Russia cancellation, SCS teased a new DLC which is going to be called West Balkans, so don't expect it to include Morocco or something. They started a year ago with the work on it, but only now they are putting all pieces together to give us yet another juicy DLC. No release date has been given, and as is customary for SCS, don't expect any official date until they are sure they're gonna keep their promise. When it's ready, we will be able to track around Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Kosovo, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Serbia and Slovenia. Assetto Corsa Evoluzione has come out of alpha and go into beta and got a new mode, Assetto Corsa History. Race yourself through the 20th century and into the 21st with this mode, for which of course you need to download yet another bunch of mods. Now, Assetto Corsa Evoluzione also lets you free roam in California and Japan. It also brings an improved version of the already existing Lienz as exclusive content, where Alex created a new layout on the already existing mod. And in collaboration with Chivas Auto Art, renowned mod makers, you'll be driving a GT500 by Chivas, which hasn't been officially released yet. Well, it's here at last. Raceroom have published the newest content, and it's, no surprise here, Interlagos for the price of €535 USD or 499 VRP. Many had expected Sector 3 to publish some kind of F1 open wheeler at the same time, but no, nothing of the like. Maybe next week? Motorsport Games have teased one track that is going to be in the Q4 2022 content drop of rFactor 2 scheduled for November. It's going to be a laser scanned version of the Bahrain International Circuit with the Grand Prix and Outer Circuit configurations. If you like this video and are a fan, become a patron. Let us spread our wings. Amongst other perks, it will fix your name for posterity like this. A big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing. The biggest release this week was iRacing's quarterly release, which saw the light on Monday with a hotfix not soon after. This release brings two new Mercedes AMG into the sim, the one in GT3, the other in GT4 configuration, and the radical SR10. Also, iRacing released the Fuji International Speedway as well as the Port Royal Speedway and the Sandown Motor Raceway, an Australian track. Also, many series in iRacing as well as the new cars can now be raced against the AI. Something that iRacing desperately needed, well, other than better force feedback, was a new UI, as the UI until now looked like made in the 90s. And while we consider the UI easier on the eyes, we're not completely on board with it. To us, it looks cluttered. Does it look cluttered to you too? It seems it does also for the iRacing developers, as they have set up a system of guided tours for some parts of the UI to help you navigate through it. From the UI to the HUD, you can now save the arrangement of HUD elements per car. Something we'd love to see in other sims, because not only do car classes have different cockpit arrangements, these can change from car to car also. You can now also set up custom car classes and use that car class to race with others. But not the AI, iRacing's still working on that. If we read the line correctly, they are working on getting the tire warming bug that was being exploited under control. An interesting improvement they've done is to revise the torque calculations involved in tire sidewall collisions, including other cars, and seeing to it that the changes in the tire shape depending on the tire pressure are included in that. Impressive overlapping calculations. Moving on to cars, the overall class of GT3 cars has seen a balance of performance adjustment, an update of the setups, ride height and differential clutch numbers, and many graphic corrections. GT4 cars saw an update of the setups, as they got the treatment of the new damage model. NASCAR Classic 9087 cars got revised thoroughly to make the parts the digital cars are composed of behave more realistically. They also got revised setups, as did the NASCAR Cup Series cars and many others. A specific car that saw many changes is the Aston Martin Vantage GT4, where the ride height limits got lowered and many changes were done to fit the new damage model. And the Dallara IR18, also known as the modern IndyCar, saw corrections in the aerodynamic understeer when following other cars, corrections in the external radiators, and again some changes for the new damage model, as many components like the suspension and the spec map have been adapted, it also saw updates of the setups. Another one with extensive changes is the Porsche 911R GT3, where the aerodynamic model has been corrected, the setup allows for lower ride heights and the rear wing can be adjusted nearer to what the real-life car allows. Brake cooling factors and brake parameters have also been changed. Also, iRacing developers fixed small issues in the servers and the netcode, some race control enhancements, and a lot of little tweaks and fixes in the rendering of the graphics. For the detailed list of changes, see the link in the description. For more videos full of news and joy, check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.